Record and talk.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Together for LA webinar series. We are Angela and Bob from the Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation, and LA EDC welcomes you to our webinar series this morning, where we'll be covering the California Competes tax credit. I would like to mention LAEDC's website to please jot down, laedc.org/coronavirus. Please use this as a resource that is available for small businesses and includes a great directory of small business resources, grants and loans that are available, programs, accelerator programs, and so on that are available in a very easy to filter system. I am Angela Amirkhanian, Program Manager of the Together for LA program and today's webinar moderator. LAEDC is a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose mission is to harness the power of private sector in collaboration with Los Angeles County to guide economic development and create more widely shared prosperity. This webinar series is brought to you by our Together for LA program. The Together for LA program is a collaborative, a partnership with community organizations to strengthen and support specifically women and diverse-owned businesses as we recover from the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic crisis that it has brought on to small businesses. The Together for LA program is generously sponsored by Wells Fargo. I would next like to introduce my colleague, Bob Machuca, who is District Director of the Business Assistance and Economic Development Program. And he is joining us this morning to talk to us about LAEDC's no-cost technical assistance services, as well as share very important information about the California Competes tax credit that is available to us. So Bob, I will pass it on to you.
Thank you very much, Angela. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for taking your time to join us for this very valuable information session on technical assistance and the California Competes tax credit. And when we say technical assistance, we don't mean assistance like IT or engineering assistance. We mainly offer business technical assistance. We just call it technical because we can help you with a variety of challenges and issues you have with sustaining and growing and expanding your business here in Los Angeles County. And these are some of the areas where we can assist you. And I just want to add that our department's been around since 1996, providing these valuable services. We work closely with our workforce training partners to help you find and recruit the talent that you need and to train as well your existing employees. There's a variety of programs to help with workforce funding to train those employees. Permitting assistance. We work closely with the different departments in the county departments, city departments, tax incentives. There's a variety of incentives, one of which we're going to talk about coming up. Financing resources. There's a variety of traditional and non-traditional financing programs, access to capital because of the recovery from COVID-19. And we do want to emphasize, and we do understand, it's still tough out there and a lot of businesses are struggling. There are grant programs that are coming online as new programs become available and they're phased out. There are new programs that are coming online. So we have these programs available to help you through your challenges. Site selection, a lot of different programs. These are, if I could explain in one quick sheet what we do, this is kind of what we are providing here, your connection to resources, working closely with the different city departments and county departments, financing programs, energy efficiencies. We work closely with the California Edison, the Southern Gas Company, and there's different utilities that have a variety of incentive programs, savings by design programs, programs to make your utilities more efficient, workforce development. We work closely with the AJCCs, the America's Job Center, and various funding programs. Economic data. We host a variety of economic data at no cost to you for downloading on our website that helps you make the decision, help you with your business plan. Where's the economy going? And what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? So great information on economic data on our website. We have a variety of programs to help you reduce risk and increase the bottom line. Work closely with the California Manufacturing Technology Consulting, lean manufacturing program. So a variety of programs that we offer. But this morning, really what we wanted to talk about was the California Competes tax credit. I'm going to go off screen here so we can enlarge the screen and get a better broadband here. But the California Competes tax credit, this is a tax credit that's been around now for 8 years. This is offered 3 times a year. There's 3 rounds a year. We are in the first round that started July the 26th through August the 16th. And what this is, it's a tax credit for companies that will be expanding and creating jobs in the next 5-year horizon. So again, I want to emphasize this tax credit is for companies who are looking to expand, create jobs and investment in California, in Los Angeles County, in California in the next 5-year horizon. Okay. Again, this is the income tax that can be used to lower your income tax to the California Franchise Tax Board. Again, this is not a payroll tax incentive. This is an income tax incentive. Again, this credit is offered to businesses that if not for this credit, they will not be able to provide jobs and investment, if not, but for this credit. And this fiscal year, there's about 395 million that will be offered in this fiscal year for this California Competes tax credit. In this round 1, there's $150 million available. This is open to all business. Doesn't matter the size of your business, doesn't matter where you're located. You can be located anywhere in LA County or California for that matter. And again, it's to retain and to attract and create high value jobs. Hopefully we're looking for high value jobs in any industry in Los Angeles County. Let's see, the next screen, please. These are the factors. Again, a lot of it is related to the number of jobs created and retained and the compensation paid to the employees and the amount of investment. And we're going to show you in a few slides going forward, how do you calculate the best cost benefit ratio. Again, your commitment to staying in the state is very important. Again, this is it looks at your 5-year horizon. And we want to emphasize, if you don't use the tax credits in 5 years, there's a 6-year carryover. So the potential is to have this tax credit available for 6 years. And again, looking for businesses who show future growth and opportunity for expansion. And again, other evaluation factors could be the overall economic impact, the importance to the state, and especially here in Los Angeles County, training opportunities offered to your employees. And again, we're looking GoBiz, who is providing, GoBiz again stands for the Governor's Office of Business and Investment. They are evaluating the extent to which the credit will influence your ability and willingness to create full-time jobs in California. Thank you. Next slide, please. So I think the most important thing to really understand how this credit works is based on the cost benefit ratio. And there's 2 phases here. There's a phase 1 evaluation and phase 2 evaluation, but let's talk about phase 1. It's really based on the cost benefit ratio. What is the best cost benefit ratio to the state to offer this credit based on your investment and the aggregate number of jobs created? So on the left-hand side, I want to emphasize here that there are exemptions to be able to move into phase 2. If absent this credit, your investment will occur in another state, or you may terminate or relocate a portion of your employees to another state. Or number 2, at least 75% of your net increase in full-time jobs work at least 75% in an area of high unemployment or high poverty. So these 2 bullets here will, if you fall in that category, you will be automatically moved into phase 2. And people ask, well, how do I know if I'm in a high unemployment or high poverty area? When you get into the application, there are some icons there and links that will show you areas that are high unemployment and high poverty. So that answers that question. How do you know if I'm in these particular areas? But let's move to the right-hand side. The cost benefit ratio, what does this mean? So really, if you take a division formula, on the top, on the numerator, you could ask for any credit you want. Okay, any credit you want. On the denominator on the bottom, what you do is you add, again, this is your 5-year horizon. You're adding your aggregate employee compensation paid to base employees, existing employees, and new employees over a 5-year period, plus your aggregate, all your investment in each of the 5 years going forward. So based on on the denominator, your employee compensation and your investment, there you do the formula and you ask for the credit above. Now people ask, well, what do I ask for? Okay, so just very simply, hypothetically, if on the denominator you were looking for, you were doing, just say you were doing $1 million of investment, hypothetically, let's just take that number, $1 million of investment. So you would, and that $1 million would be your aggregate employee compensation and investment over 5 years. So then you would do the division formula. You would ask for a credit. Well, how much would you ask on your $1 million investment? Well, typically it would depend on the cost benefit ratio. Okay, you can ask for as much as you want. Say you ask for 100,000 of credit based on that $1 million investment. Well, your cost benefit ratio is 10%. But you have to remember, the reason why we call it the California Competes Tax Credit is because you are competing with hundreds of businesses who are looking for this credit. So you want to increase your chances. So historically, the cost benefit ratio to move into the next category would be around 3 to 5%. So based on that $1 million investment, and to move into phase 2, you would probably want to ask for 3 to 5%, meaning on that investment of $1 million, you would probably ask for $35,000 to $50,000. Now you could ask for more. And again, people ask, well, what is the best cost benefit ratio? Again, it would depend on how many businesses are competing for this. Now, there's been in the past, a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, at the height of COVID-19, there was not a lot of investment. I mean, not because of the economy, businesses have slowed down. So the cost benefit ratio at that time was 20%. Okay, you could have, you could ask for $200,000 based on the $1 million investment. But now, as we're coming into the recovery and businesses are doing better, we're having more businesses that are applying. So, I would say about 3 to 8% is what you could ask for. But again, it would depend on how many people are applying for this. Now, again, the way California Competes looks at phase 1, it would be the applications with the most advantageous cost benefit ratio to move into phase 2. Now you see there where it says there will be a review of 200% of applicants. Well, what do you mean 200%? You have to remember this phase is based, the credit allowed this period is $150,000. So based on 200%, GoBiz will, and again, they are the people who are reviewing the applications at the governor's office, will review the top $300,000 of credits asked for by businesses. That's what we mean by 200%. Though they will only allow $150,000 to give more companies the opportunity to apply. They will review the top 200 of applicants up to $300,000 that was asked. And then the best cost benefit ratios will be applied to $150,000 worth of credit available. Next slide, please. So when GoBiz does arrive at the best cost benefit ratio and you are advised that you've been selected to move into phase 2, it's an evaluation based on the following. In addition to phase 1 information, which is your cost benefit ratio, the extent of unemployment and poverty in your area, the economic impact, the number of retained jobs, the number of new jobs, the opportunity for growth and expansion and going forward. Other incentives available offered by the state or the locality where you are located. The wages and benefits paid to employees, especially to new employees. The importance of your industry to the area, and training opportunities offered to your employees. Next slide, please. So again, the process is like this. Once you have been notified that you've moved into phase 1 and you qualified for phase 2, there is an agreement between the state of California and your business. And again, we want to emphasize there is no cost to apply for this. All of this agreement means if you're abiding by the terms and the conditions of the agreement, which say that you are going to meet the minimum number of employees, employee compensation and retention during the period that you have agreed upon for the following 5 years. There will be recapture provisions if you fail to meet the commitments, meaning that if you take advantage of the credit, but you fail to meet your commitment, then there will be a recapture of the credit that was offered. Again, we want to say that the tax credit agreements, these are approved by the California Competes Tax Credit Committee, which is composed of the state treasurer, the director of the Department of Finance, legislative employees, and the director of GOBIZ, of the California Governor's Office of Business and Investment. As we mentioned before, and we mentioned this already in part 2, phase 2 is just the extent and the impact of your project in the next 5 years. Next slide, please. Documentation needed. You must provide actual numbers from your payroll records, the most recently completed tax year for full-time employees. And again, we want to emphasize this applies, we're looking for full-time employees, not part-time employees, okay? And again, a 5-year business plan, including which we'll talk about your projected new full-time employees and their classifications and the amount of new investment. Next slide, please. The application website is very simple. You just go to calcompetes.ca.gov, and there it is right there. We also have this link on our LAEDC website. So what you do is when you go in, very simply, you put your email in, you will be given a key, an email key. So in the bottom, you see 2 options. I already have a key or create an account. So your first step would be to create an account. And then you go in, you start filling it out. And when you go, you can sign off, but when you want to go back in, you would hit, I already have the key, you enter your key. The next slide, please. It's very, very self-explanatory. Once you get in, very simply, you enter the information, contact information, business information, so on and so forth. You'll notice in each section, for example, on the first one, contact information, says not started. So that would be your first step. You go in there and you would start the information, and that red would click to yellow. Then when you're done with that, it would click to green, and so on and so forth for each section. So when you're done with your application, once all those sections on the other green, it'll say completed. On the bottom, the very left-hand corner, it's grayed out, but it says submit. That's when you hit the submit button. And when you do that, all of the information you included in there will be sent to GoBiz. And then that's where they will do the evaluation of phase 1. Now let me stay on the screen for a minute. Again, you start off with your contact information, business information, your structure, proposed project, location, number of employees, very important, number of your base employees, number of new employees. The next one, investment, very important. If you recall from the formula we discussed earlier, you want to talk about your aggregate investment. Investment could mean real estate, buildings, equipment going forward for the next 5 years. And of course, the next one would be the ownership structure, other incentives received, any violations if they apply, any questions you may have. Okay. Next slide. So really tips on this, again, you want to really request the amount of credit it would be to really complete the project, your proposed project. Only ask for what you would need to take the project to have that done in 5 years. Okay. Again, you can ask for whatever you want, but if you ask for too much of a credit based on your investment, you're going to be knocked out and your cost benefit ratio is going to be high, and therefore you're not going to be competitive. Okay. Again, they're going to know, your current taxable year. Want to emphasize that multiple contacts can be added to this. So you may have different folks in your business, maybe the CFO or maybe your accountant, CPA. You can add different people to this application, and they'll get their keys so they can go in and they can add their information. A lot of businesses will circulate this within the company, maybe with the CFO, the CEO, maybe with the HR director, and they would input the information as necessary depending on the application portion. You want to visit on the website. When you go in there, there's a section to put your NAICS code. The NAICS is the North American Industry Classification System. What that means is every business and every industry has a classification code, and you want to be able to put your classification code in there. And when you go in, it'll step you through that, how to find that classification code. Again, you need to describe your proposed business venture, investment, and expansion in California, and limited to 7,000 characters. If there is more than one location, you should identify the main location where the most increases to employment and investment would be the primary location. Very important, you need to provide your payroll records from the taxable year and immediately before the applicant's taxable year of which the application is being submitted. And also, part-time employees do not qualify as full-time equivalents. And people have asked, well, what is a full-time employment? A full-time employee? It's an employee that works at least 35 hours a week. The application process takes around 90 days from application submission. I do want to add that people have asked, well, can I go prior? Can I have investments that were prior before? If I had a large investment last year or be prior? No, it's investments are going forward from the date you submit your application, which is August the 16th going forward. So any investment in equipment, real estate from August the 16th, if you submit it on this round, going forward from August the 16th, including new employees. So again, everything starts, again, if you're applying in this round, which ends on August the 16th, it's going forward from August the 16th. Now, GoBiz has a really great site. And if you go on our website, we can refer you to the GoBiz site. There's a section there on frequently asked questions, which does a really good job of answering questions you may have on that site. And that site is we'll reference that on our website. I do want to mention that GoBiz is having another webinar next Tuesday on August the 10th. And you can find that link on our LAEDC website. And basically that is it. That's in a nutshell, the California Competes tax credit. Again, this is a way to incentivize and award businesses for their investment in growing in Los Angeles County and in the state of California. So at this time,
thank you very much, Bob.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that important information. And I do want to mention that we understand that a lot of information was presented today. A video recording will be made available on our website. So if you visit laedc.org/coronavirus under past events, you will be able to view a recording of today's session. Also, Bob mentioned that this resource is available under our resources portion of the website as well, in more detail. So please take a look at that, as well as visit GoBiz's website. They provide a more in-depth review of each of the application portions. It is quite of a lengthy application with many documentation and information that you will need to gather. So please go ahead and take a look at that website as well. So I'd like to invite Bob back on the screen, and we are going to take some questions and answers. So if you have any questions at this time, please go ahead and enter it in the Q&A box. And we will do our best to address it.
Well, Angela, thank you very much, Angela. While we're waiting for questions to come in, we do want to remind you that when you go to our LAEDC website and you link to the GoBiz website for the California Competes, there are online tutorials. There are videos that will help step you through the process. As Angela mentioned, it could be very lengthy. The lengthy part is, again, we mentioned your 5-year plan. So it's going to ask you for each year, what are your amount, what are your base employees? What is your new employees? What is your amount of new investment? And that's probably the part that takes the longest. But when you really think it through, I know it sounds complicated, but really it's the same for each year. It's just you take your first year and then you move it forward to the next year. Okay, now you take those existing employees and you add new employees. And if you lost any employees, then you subtract them. So it's just kind of a process going forward. The best way to approach this is to have a business plan. We found that businesses that have a business plan, they project their 5-year outlook. Those are the ones that find it easier to fill out this application. If you don't have a 5-year outlook and you're just doing it off the top of your head, that's where it gets complicated and it takes time. So those businesses that have that 5-year plan, that helps you.
Great, thank you, Bob. We do have some questions coming in that I'd like to read out loud. We have a question that is regarding individual training for companies that may need some help in applying. So yes, I can answer this one, Bob. So LAEDC offers a no-cost technical assistance program that is available to businesses of all sizes and industries of all sorts. So if you take a look at our website, you will notice a Contact Us button. That is our general business intake form. As soon as you complete that, or as soon as any individual completes that with some additional information that will be helpful for us to assess where you are located, we will have a specific regional manager that serves your area contact you to do a further assessment of your needs. And if you can specify that you need help with this application, we can definitely get in contact with you to further assist you with that. So please take advantage of that inquiry form. And let us know what some of your needs and areas of improvement are. If we can assist you with any resources or referrals, please go ahead and complete that form for us. We have another question regarding employees. I do not have full-time employees for 2020, only part-time employees, less than 35 hours. Am I qualified for this program?
Unfortunately not, but now that's based on employees, but another way to look at it is your amount of investment. You have to, back to the ratio. Again, we said it's based on the number of employees and investment. So if you had a lot of investment, again, that's the total number on the denominator, and then you can ask for credit on that. But again, we do want to emphasize the main purpose of this credit is to create new jobs, and new jobs where they would work at least 35 hours a week. So yeah, unfortunately, in that case, it may not work.
Great, thank you, Bob. We have one more question. Do you need individual payroll records or aggregate total, such as number of full-time employees and total compensation will suffice?
I believe it is individual payroll records. But what I would do, I would ask that question of GoBiz. If you go again to the LAEDC website, we'll give you a link there. They have a staff and they have a phone number. They're available. You can call them and ask them, or just shoot them an email. They have a staff that's totally dedicated to this tax credit. And I would submit that question to them.
Great, thank you, Bob. It seems like we don't have any further questions, but if any other questions arise, please feel free to contact us. So I do want to cover two more important points. I did mention the contact us form, so please go ahead and complete that business intake form to schedule a complimentary and confidential assessment with one of our business assistance representatives. We have also launched a webinar series under the Together for LA program. The calendar of events can be found on laadc.org/coronavirus, as well as registration links. We are hosting 2 webinars a month, so please take a look at the schedule and please register. All of the webinars that we are offering are also complimentary. With that said, our next webinar is scheduled for August 25th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And it will be on the topic of digital presence and strategies for small business. And we have a guest speaker from WebPower attending to present about some digital strategies for small businesses. And this is especially important during the pandemic, as businesses are shifting to a hybrid of both in-person and digital strategy. So please register for that. A shortcut is tinyurl.com/TFLA webinars, where we will be posting all of our upcoming events.
Angela, I just want to mention, if I may, there are a couple of follow-up questions. I could try to address them real quick.
Sure.
Okay, in the interest of time here, follow-up question. I have hired a full-time employees and have plans to hire more full-time employees going forward. Does that change the fact? Yes, it does. So based on that, yes, you are hiring new employees going forward. Now, this would not apply to any new employees you hired prior to August 16th. Again, the reason I say August 16th, because that's if you apply in this round, which is August 16th. So any full-time employees prior to that, actually they would count. They would count as base employees, and then any new employees going forward would qualify. Yes, that would change the fact, and yes, you could apply. Another question came in saying, how many years of existence should your business have to qualify? Doesn't matter, as long as you are creating new jobs and new investment. Now the challenge there is going to be your payroll records. Okay, if you don't have any previous payroll records, then it's going to be hard to determine your base count. So that might be an issue, but again, going forward, you could count new employees and new investment. You just won't be able to count your base because you didn't have any employees if you're new. I think that was it. How many years? Okay, so anyway, that's it. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Bob. And thank you to everyone that has joined us this morning. We hope the webinar was informative, and we hope that everyone valued the information that we shared today. And once again, we will be hosting many more events on resources as we learn about them. Please do note that there are many, many resources for small businesses that are continuously coming up. So please take a look at our website for more resources that are available to you. And once again, we thank you for your time, and we hope to see you on the 25th. Thank you.